Hey there, it's Bridget Lynn Dolgoff, Consciousness of, sorry, I'm going to clean myself up a little bit. Consciousness of Economics and Urban Farm Project YouTube channel. And I haven't really been posting anything. I've just been battling with the people in Nevada, like Sparks and Reno and the city councils and all kinds of stuff about the Truckee River. And they are so good with like diverting you away from topics like that they don't want to really discuss. And they don't really want to discuss these needles, spent and used needles that are all over the area, especially Sparks, like Rock Park. Anyway, it's typical. I citizen lobbied in this state in 2009, hours a week. Fought against 50 bills personally, and yeah, it was just a big deal. But they don't. They just don't want to take any personal responsibility. You know, they're good at like directing, like let me redirect you. So I'm kind of tired about that. I've been exhausted, and then I've been doing a lot of research, on the Federal Reserve accounts. This is all stuff I've been doing for 15 years, trying to figure out how to access my own personal Federal Reserve account, and just lots of other stuff. So I've spent about 70 hours in the last 2 weeks dealing with that. And so just kind of like really mentally tired. But one of the things that I've been thinking about is value. So the other day, I'm not in a very good position to be giving anyone money. I'm pretty much living out of my car and, just other stuff. And work is slow, paid work. I do a lot of unpaid work for people. And that's a whole other value topic. Anyway, so a couple days ago, I had to take a friend of mine to go get a part for their car, and they went in, and I saw this older man who was totally homeless, and he had one of those injury helmets on. Usually when people wear those, like anything that can happen to their head, they can die or be in a coma or really have some serious challenges, because their brain's already challenged. That's why they have a helmet on. And I was looking at his little cart, and he was pushing a cart, and he had nothing in it. It was like garbage. It was all garbage. And I just stood there and looked at him like, that's his value from society. That's what he's valued at. In America, we value everything about money. And he had zero value. Zero value. Everyone that walks by him gives him zero value. And everything. So, because I've been working on a lot of this value, going back to the Federal Reserve accounts and our birth certificates and our true value, commodity value, or whatever, all these funds originate from, and then they, branch out from there. And everyone you do business with basically takes bonds out on you off that money. And, billions and billions of dollars off each individual. But yet we can't eat. We have no place to live. We have no place to take a shower. We have no safe place to lay down our head. We don't have warm clothes to survive a winter, or shelter, or heat, and what does that mean? Really, what does that mean? There's a lot of different levels that go along with it, But anyway, so I, basically I had like $100, so I took $40 out, folded it up, walked it over to the man with the helmet. Because how am I ever going to value myself if I don't value others and show people who are super down and out? I'm down and out, but I'm not pushing a cart with garbage in it and digging through dumpsters. I mean, at least not at this point. It could happen. But and I'm not afraid. Like I'm done letting go of fear. There's only so much things you can do to try to stay afloat. It has nothing to do with you. It's how the system values you and how you value you and how you value other people. Like this homeless man. Like everybody like tries to run him over with their car and beep at him. He has no respect. Like he can't even walk across a crosswalk without being terrorized by violence and hostility for people because he's considered a piece of shit, a piece of garbage, because he has no financial value. Everything's based on financial value. So how does a person value themselves? They can't value themselves because the outside world, peer pressure, has a bigger impression on them. And, if the bank takes your money, if you can't make enough money to put in the bank, if you're always in the red zone with the bank, you're always behind on your bills, eventually there's going to be a point that you're going to lose it all, right? And then you're already picking on yourself. You're already like lost your value and you lost your ability to have value. And then you become valueless. It's really sick. So anyway, I gave him the $40. I put it on his little cart. And I turned around and walked away. And he walked up to it. And I think it's been a really, really long time for him that anything really good has happened. And anything or anyone from the outside world gave him value. And giving him that $40 was like, the look in his face was like giving him $1 million. Telling him he hit the lotto, And then he unfolded it and realized like there wasn't just one 20, there was two 20s. And he was so speechless. And he just kept yelling blessings at me across the parking lot, that I wake up every day blessed with divine guidance and divine will and goodness and, things like that. I mean, over $40, appreciation. That is value. Appreciation. I do so many good things for people. I do marketing plans and business plans, and I help them go out and help them with properties, building core food productions to make their life and their family life better for free. I do all kinds of things that are free. Thinking about this whole value thing, at any point in time, any of those people could have given me $20. At any point in time, they could have given me $40. At any point in time, they could have bought me some groceries. At any point in time, they could have got me a food grocery card. I mean, something for my value. They gave me nothing. They just took. So that's on them because they had the opportunity to do right. And they had the opportunity to compensate me in some way, shape, or form for my value. So what happens is it makes their value drop. It makes them go down in value, not just in my eyes, but let's just say the creator or God or whatever you want to, in those eyes too, right? And so what would they have spent the money on instead? I don't know, new pair of shoes, pants, new car, instead of putting the value into another human being. And it doesn't take much value. $20 can make a difference in someone's day. Puts gas in their car, right? Keeps them on the road, keeps them doing what they do. But I think there's a point too where you have to ask yourself, is the work that you're doing for other people that they are considering valueless because they give you no value back for it? Is it worth your value? Maybe that is like the true, like attracts like, or manifestation is when you go, wow, giving to all these people, trying to make their lives better, is not valuing myself or my time or valuing myself in any way, shape, or form, because it takes energy to do it and there's no transference of that energy back. So as people lose hold, I mean, everybody, most people, I mean, I grew up in a town where in 8th grade, like 3 of my closest friends bathed in the canal. They didn't even have any running water in their house. They lived along the canal. Now it's disgusting. Now they dump sewage and stuff in this canal, and it's owned by the government because the government stole all the water from all the Nevadans. Another, unbelievable chain of events. But back in the day, it was just mostly irrigation, farming water. I mean, yeah, there was stuff in it, yeah, but what are you going to do? Got to take a bath. So, I've grown up really poor, but we didn't really devalue people. I think maybe because it was more of a one-horse town, like everybody was kind of equal, and then grew up, and now you really see the value or the devaluation of people. From that point in time, right? But up and through high school, everybody was pretty much even. I remember when I was 21, a really good friend of mine who ended up moving to Fernley, Nevada, one-horse town back then. Now it's disgusting, but back when I grew up, it was pasture land and huge old cottonwoods around by the ditches because we had irrigation farming water. So it was like pretty lush, really, compared to what it is now, like a giant toxic meth addict sand dune. And there you go, value. You took the money value out of the town, and now it has a bunch of valueless land, valueless people, because their values are zero. They're on drugs, right? So the more the value of however it looks, water, resources, money, food, labor, thoughts, ideas, these are all values. And the more values that are removed, especially from an individual person, their ability to have value and become valueless. It's really sad. And it's super, super sad. So I was thinking the other day about, most of the people from my past, would consider me valueless, right? Worthless, valueless. And no amount of education that I have or things that I've done or experiences or amount of work or labor or study or consulting or, anything, I'm considered valueless. So all that they can do is like discredit you or, kick you on your way down, right? Because they don't understand, because that's what our society teaches people to do. Get away from them. Yeah, don't have anything to do with those people. Even though you're one step away from being those people. And eventually you're going to go there, because if that's how you feel about those people, well, as you slide down that old water slide, that's what you're going to be thinking about yourself, and it's going to compound your situation and make it worse. I mean, try to go into a job interview when you consider yourself valueless because you can't get any money from the government, you can't get any money from food stamps, you can't get any employment, your friends and family, nobody will help you. There's nothing, like you get nothing. And so you are trying to figure out like what you did wrong. Maybe you even fell from grace. Maybe you did something bad karmically and you're paying for it. And a lot of people love that. Oh, probably paying for something I did in a past life. Fuck that. Get in the present moment. Wake the fuck up. It's based on your thoughts now. So you have this, I'm valueless because nobody will value me and I can't make enough money to keep a roof over my head and blah, 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 blah. And you're going to go into a job with that kind of energy. It's going to be like valueless, valueless, valueless. So all the guy on the other side is going to be picking up is not sure exactly what he feels about you, but he just knows that you're really not the right person for the job. And then you never get a call back and you don't know what happened. And then you stress out more. Because now another person has claimed you as valueless. But see, the more that you travel down that road and the more you believe it, maybe your value isn't in exchange of money. I know that sucks to say. Maybe letting go of, having that mortgage or that rent or whatever else that you're clinging to and wasting time could be that you're probably going to lose anyway. Maybe you need to let go of that to go search out, reestablish your value, go back to school, sit down, do some writing, figure out where you're at in the present moment, connect all your dots and your points. Take a break. There's lots of places you can go camping, like drop in and see if some of your friends will let you shower or whatever, right? And then, like different lakes you can go camping, that are not federally. I mean, you can pay like $10 a night in the summertime and spring and fall. And it's actually nice to get out, right? You just take some bulk dried food and, be happy and kind of figure it out. Take a rest, take a break, and just stop your chain of events of, rolling down the hill at the speed of light because of, what you think about your value. And, the other thing, too, is, like, we might not put it into terms like that, but we might suffer, insecurities, and then we get angry at, why people don't treat us the way that a bare minimum of, like, what you would treat another human being. Well, it's because they think we're valueless. We have nothing to offer them. And there's no way of getting into their minds and explaining that to them. Like, stop fighting with these people, too. Who cares? They consider you valueless. Why in the fuck would you talk to them anyway? Right? Because they're just projecting more of that onto you. But you need to figure out what your value is. What are your skills? What are your talents? What are your this? What are you that? What can you do in the community? Right? What can you give? What do you got to reestablish your value within yourself? That's what you got to do, is you got to reestablish your value within yourself. It doesn't matter what kind of dollar sign or emotional dollar sign or mental dollar sign that they, put on you. You have to figure that out for yourself and stay with that and not allow these people to dictate what your value is. Even if you're a homeless person, you have some value. You probably have more value to Creator than you ever did because you're sleeping out in areas that need to be taken care of, right? So instead of just falling apart and being angry homeless person on drugs, You could actually, be a homeless person that, ends up cleaning their act up. I have a great story from a friend of mine that I haven't really seen in a long time. I keep going over there and looking for him because I periodically would drive up and give him money if I could find him. Anyway, he told me this story. He had been like a big, huge CPA, corporate accountant guy. Made like $250,000 a year, and had been married 3 times and had kids from every marriage. But he said he was a hardcore alcoholic, and he was not a nice person when he drank, and he was drunk all the time. Start drinking at lunch, right? And drink all day and night until he's passed out. And just about the time he passed out, he's got to wake up and go to work, 9 to 5. He said so he quit. He quit his job to get sober and basically had to quit that life. And to a lot of people, they'd be like, wow, dude, why don't you just go to rehab? Well, he realized that it was the job and his lifestyle that was making him a alcoholic. And by quitting it all, surrendering all of his identity, his IDs, his bank accounts, because, his ex-wives were coming after it anyway. He just didn't even want to fight about it. He didn't want to even hold on to that life. He said, all I could think about was getting sober. And he did. And he hasn't drank since. I think I saw some orbs rolling by, so that's a good thing. They're listening. So he had to re-identify what his value was. So to him, making $250,000 a year, he had zero value. And he needed to give himself a new value, which was sobriety was the highest value. And he's still pretty homeless, and he has some pretty rough times, but he doesn't, he just goes, he gets up every day and he goes where he intuitively feels like he needs to go and does whatever he needs to do. And he relies on the value that's given to them. Another thing too, like, that really irks the crap out of me is you go into these like food cabinets or churches that deliver food to parks to homeless people. 90% of that food is white pastry, bread, sugar, like horrible food. And it blows me away that if we're going to feed someone, we give them the lowest valued food really on the market that has the least amount of nutritional value. So again, we're saying you get depleted nutritional valued food because you're not valued, right? You have zero value. So everything about that, it becomes a symbolic language to the right hemisphere. And we pick up these hints and stuff through the right brain. The right brain isn't really the best communicating with the left brain. So left brain, we're left thinking, what the hell's wrong with me? What's going on with me? How can I fix this? What can I do? And nothing we ever attempt to do ever resolves it or fixes it, right? So the right hemisphere is like getting these subtle, messages all the time that are like symbolic, like the food, getting nutritionally depleted food to people who are financially depleted, who are emotionally depleted, who are mentally depleted. And it's not really like attracts like, because the person not always is causing it on themselves. It's happening to them. And the world around them and the people around them are projecting it onto them. And so their schools and their financial institutions, their religious structures, everything around them separates those with value from those that have no value. And when you have no value, it's almost like a group consciousness. Everyone plays in that group consciousness and turns their back. So anyway, some things to think about. Have a great day. Value. How do you value others? How do you value yourself? What is value?